Hello friends and welcome back. Transmog Tuesday but on a Wednesday. Yes, I was meant to do Transmog Tuesday yesterday, however I was full of cold, so sadly I missed it. I did actually manage to get on well, but just my voice wasn't feeling up to it yesterday, so although I didn't do it on stream, I did do my run of Siege of Orgrimmar on Mythic. Sadly, the Tusks of Manaroth still didn't drop, which is to be expected. I then realised and remembered that now that Shadowlands has been delayed, there is still a chance that on my Druid I may be able to get the Horrific Visions done with 5 masks. Still unlikely, I'll be honest, but I jumped onto a Horrific Vision just to sort of refresh how Druid feels and how it plays, because it's been a couple of weeks since I've done that. And one thing that I did get, which I'll show you in a minute because I'm going to get zoned out anyway, but one thing I did get was the Void Edge enchantment appearance for weapons, which I'm very happy to have gotten because it's definitely something that I didn't think I would be getting at any point. Just because I wasn't running Horrific Visions anymore. I think Visions are staying in Shadowlands, potentially, from what I understand, but I'm not 100% certain on that. For anybody who doesn't know what that enchantment looks like, it looks like this. So I'm going to choose a nice weapon that you'll be able to see quite a big change on. So if we look at something like Kalimdor's Revenge, for example, actually no, that's not a good one. Ash Candy, there's a better option. So if we look at Ash Candy, so here it is in all its beautiful glory. If we then select the weapon enchantment of Void Edge, as you can see, it goes purple. It gets Void touched. Now, one of the reasons why I did want this enchant was because I saw a really nice combination that someone was using before, or what I personally thought was a really nice combination anyway, whereby they had one weapon with the Void Edge enchant, and then in their offhand they then used the Wraith Chill one, which we get from the pre-patch. So you have this like mixture of almost light and dark in terms of the weapons on your back, which I think looks really cool. So what we'll probably do is, once we get over to Blackrock Mountain, I'll jump off and I'll quickly whack those enchants on my weapons just so we can have a look and see how that appears. In terms of the run today, so we're just going to do what we normally do. We're going to try first and foremost to get the Braces of Wrath from Razorgore, just with him being the first one. And then once we've done that, we will then most likely just jump over to Siege of Orgrimmar. May do Temple of Anchorage as well because it's fairly quick, just so that we can try and box off a couple of those sets. Now, when I was in Siege of Orgrimmar last night, I did get an achievement called Yas Charge, which I got it for collecting, as you can see, collect any armor set from any class in Siege of Orgrimmar. But I don't honestly know what the actual armor set was that I did complete, because if I go onto here, there's Siege of Orgrimmar, a bit further up. There it is. So I haven't yet completed the mythic one. I still need the boots. I did get the braces last night, which I didn't have previously. I don't think I had the gloves either. So last night was quite a decent run of Siege of Orgrimmar despite not getting the tusks. But boots is all I need from there. Normal, haven't got it. And then Raid Finder is 0 of 8. So I'm not quite sure what it was specifically that I did complete. I can only assume it was one of the off-color sets. But I've tried building them in the collections tab, and none of them seem to be complete, so a little bit unsure on that one, but hey ho, it's not the end of the world. I'm more bothered about getting the warrior appearances so they appear in the collections tab anyway. So I'm just going to quickly jump down here and put this enchant on my weapons. Now, purely for the sake of size, so that we can see the enchant, I'm just going to put Ash Candy on as well. See, I think that looks pretty damn sweet to me personally. The mix of light and dark on the weapons on the back. The Void Edge enchant was definitely a nice little addition to have acquired there, so I'm very happy with that. Now, this will be my third time streaming a kill of Razorgore to try and get the braces. I've run Blackwing Lair many a time, so fingers crossed this can finally be the one that will break the curse and drop Ash Candy for me. Not Ash Candy, we already had that. That was the original reason why I used to farm Blackwing Lair back in the day, was to try and get Ash Candy. Try and get the Braces of Wrath was what I was meant to say, and then hopefully we won't have to come back here again, because I honestly don't think there's any appearances that I haven't got, that in terms of warrior anyway, from this dungeon or this raid. So let's go and get this one done nice and quickly, because thankfully it's just the first boss that we have to do here, which is very handy. I don't even mind Blackwing Lair, to be honest. The aesthetic of it is really nice. I like the idea. Can't remember, I think it was potentially a Platinum WoW video that I watched on YouTube, which I think it was part of his Why Do I Want Them Dead series, which explained sort of who the enemies in Blackwing Lair are, what they're about, why you want to kill them. And that was actually very interesting. It gave me a much better sort of insight into who these enemies are, what's happening in Blackwing Lair, why it was important. So that's one thing I would definitely recommend if anybody, you know, plays World of Warcraft, even if you've played it for a long time, because I've played the game for a long time, but never really been that up on, you know, sort of the lore and things like that come along with the game, which is actually very interesting when you get down to it. And it's not, the sort of overall view of it isn't that complicated. I think it gets a bit more complicated now, but when you sort of talk in terms of the vanilla stuff, it's a lot simpler. But a decent story, surprisingly enough. Right, let's have a look. Braces of Wrath. Yes, we got them. Nice. Finally, we got the Braces of Wrath. So that completes the set for the Battlegear of Raft, as we can see here. Battlegear of Raft normal. Finally got that full set, and we got the achievement to collect any class armor set. So that's a brilliant start to Transmog Tuesday, as I will call it today. Yeah, so couldn't be happy with that, to be honest with you. What a brilliant start. So I'll quickly, as is tradition now, if we get a full set, we will pop that set on. So I'll just jump over here. Battleplate of Wrath. There we go. Excellent, what a start. Over the moon with that now. So the next one, since that went so quickly and so smoothly, what we'll do is we'll head over and we'll see if we can get the belt from the twins in Temple of Anchorage. Another thing that I might also try and do as well, I might try and get the sword from Ruins of Anchorage, the green one, just because I'm working on a green set at the moment, a green transmog set, and I think it would look quite nice, it would match up quite well. So we might potentially have a look at getting that. I'll, once we're sort of on our way, I'll check which boss it drops from, because I can't remember. I very rarely have done Ruins. I was mainly bothered about getting Kalimdor's Revenge, because that sword looks better than the green version, but obviously in terms of transmog I would like the colour to match. So I'll have a look and see which boss it drops from once we're up and flying. Right. I'll show you which one I mean as well, because there might be some people who don't actually know which one I'm talking about. So if we have a look at the Ruins of Anchorage, it's this one, Manslayer of the Kuraji. It's like a green one. The resolution's not the best because it's classic WoW, but I still think it's a nice looking sword. It drops off General Rajak. So he's the second boss. Alright, okay, that's cool. So, I tell you what, we'll quickly go and do him first. We'll see if we can get the sword to drop. I'm really happy with this so far. We've got the Void Edge Enchant. I know I got that last night, but I was very happy to get that. And then now we've got the full Battlegear of Raft set, which is really nice. Very happy to get a full set on the first run of the day as well, which is really good, because that's 2 times prior to this. I mean, you wouldn't believe how many times I've actually been to that raid and haven't got those braces. I've run Blackwing Lair many times and not got them, so to finally get them now on stream, that's why I was so excited for some braces in a set that I'm probably not going to wear that often, but it feels good to get it. So there is the first boss. That's nice and quick. Kurinax. As you can tell, I'm not that au fait with the sort of Anchorage bosses. It's not a raid that I've done. Didn't do it in vanilla. Haven't done it in classic. We've got a nice a dagger transmog there though, so let's have a look and see what that looks like. Could be useful for... Hey, that's really nice. I know it's low resolution, but that's a really... I wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you. I was just expecting something like this. But yeah, that's really nice. That could potentially go with the set later down the line for a rogue, so I'll take that. And then General Rejax is just around this corner, so we'll kill him. I'm going to assume that once I attack him, all these groups are going to attack me, which is okay. I'm sure I'll survive. Okay, so we didn't get the sword off him, which is fine. I didn't expect that we would get the sword. Interestingly enough, it doesn't look like all the bosses here drop epic items, which is rather strange. I didn't know that that was a thing. I just assumed, as I think most people probably would, that when you're in a raid you're going to get an epic item drop off each boss kill, but you learn something new every day apparently. So we'll quickly make our way out of here. He's the only one that I am interested in killing in terms of the sort of sets and things like that. Helm of Domination, yeah, I might come back and try and get that at some point, but it doesn't go with any of the sets that I've got. And then other things like this, they just don't, you know, the appearances aren't great. I've already got the vast majority of the stuff that I need from the other raid. Again, you know, in terms of like the gloves there, it's just nothing that's required. It's not part of a specific set. It might potentially suit another thing, you know, if you're making like putting a transmog together further down the line. But one of the things that I would say is that a lot of it is classic WoW gear, so ultimately the resolution isn't great, and therefore it's quite hard to match it now with a lot of the stuff that you will get in current game. So let's jump up here and we'll go and do the twins. Fingers crossed, if we're lucky we might be able to get 2 sets done today, which would be really nice. I'm most likely going to do Siege of Orgrimmar once we're finished here. We've always got to try for the Tusks, it's the main thing. And then ultimately I might be able to finish off the Mythic set as well. So there is 2 bosses that can drop the boots for the Plate Warrior Mythic set. So fingers crossed we can get the boots to drop off one of those. And then that would be, I mean, we've got the potential to finish 3 sets today, which would be incredible if we can achieve that. So I made the mistake there of just doing a normal loot rather than shift looting him, but that's fine. Boots of receiver, yeah, so this is what I mean, like, you know, we've got some new plate boots, we didn't have those before, but if you just look at them, the resolution's terrible, you know, the overall, it's just not something really that you're going to wear with any sets nowadays, to be honest. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not too bothered about coming to places like this for Transmog. If I was totally fussed about getting every appearance, then ultimately, you know, it's somewhere where you're going to have to come. I've got it now, so, you know, it's all a means to an end, but it's not something that I'm particularly going to sit there and target and try and get every single one. Now, sadly, this is the only part of the raid that I don't enjoy. Is there a way to get to the Twin Emperors quicker? I don't know, that seems to like loop around, but I get the feeling that this doesn't go any lower, or does it? Can you know? I think that's just like the. I think there was always an optional boss, if I remember rightly, in Anchorage. So yeah, I think we'll just go the normal way rather than running around and then no doubt just spending a lot of time doing nothing. So we'll just go the usual way, go and kill the boss. Fingers crossed for the belt, and then once we've done that, we'll go on and move to Siege of Orgrimmar. I have to try and help Siege of Orgrimmar speed up a little bit because obviously it's a very large dungeon and warriors are not the best in terms of mobility. I did change my heroic leap talent to be the one that gives you the extra speed. It's not a lot, but it's something, just to try and help speed it up a little bit where I can. Nothing new there, so that's fine. And then we'll head on. I think the next boss is Emperors. I think we might be able to skip Thancred anyway. I'll check to see if he does have anything that's worth taking, just in case. Fairly certain he doesn't, but why not have a look? So, Temple. Where is he? Thancred the Unyielding. Chest piece. Yeah, it's okay. Shoulders are horrible. But we've got all of these guys behind us now, so we might as well stop and kill him once we get there anyway, just for the sakes of getting him down. And I've been slowed, which is brilliant. So, right, let's just get these guys killed, because they're going to just be an annoyance. Right. Back on track. Let's go. So yeah, in terms of sort of the beta, so I've been playing the beta for a few days now. Now that I'm sort of more into it, I am starting to notice some of the reasons why the game has been delayed. There's quite a few people complaining in the chat about quests that aren't working and people sort of giving them little temporary workarounds that they can try and use to see if it helps, but again, it's not sort of guaranteed. In terms of one of the things that I noticed that was really sort of crazy, is probably the best way to put it, is PvP. Now, I am by no stretch of the imagination a good PvP player, but in terms of it, I did a few arena skirmishes, and certain classes, mainly Rogue and Survival Hunter, just seemed utterly ridiculous. Like, I was literally, in one of the matches that I was in, it was myself and another warrior, which isn't a great combination anyway, but we were paired up against 2 rogues. Now, I know this is just arena skirmish, it's not great, you're not a team, you're not chatting or anything like that, but ultimately neither should the other team be, or I wouldn't expect them to be. But either way, I came up against, so there was 2 warriors versus 2 rogues, and I basically got one shot within, the first sort of opening 5 seconds of the match. I was dead. Second time that I went in was a survival hunter that could do pretty much the same thing. So you're hitting the enemies, you think that you're doing okay. Next thing you know, your health's gone, and it just literally just disappears. So I think there seems to be quite a big issue in terms of PvP balancing. But again, I'm not sure, that could just be totally down to my own inexperience of PvP, but I'm not sure. I think the problem is with, it looks like a lot of people now, in terms of when it comes to the beta, I think a lot of people aren't playing it anymore. So the people that tend to be left playing the PvP and the PvE now are the people who are really high up. So when I was trying to have a look to see if there was any mythic groups going in the group finder, I couldn't find any sort of mythic 0s or mythic 2s. It was all things like mythic 13, mythic 15, stuff like that. When I was looking for PvP, there was nothing there. Now, I don't know if it just doesn't give you the option to search for PvP, or other than skirmish. I'm not 100% certain on that, but ultimately I just didn't have a very good experience in that respect, which was a shame, because PvP was something that I was wanting to look at. I don't think Warriors ever been very good at PvP, but it's definitely not something that I think is going to be worth my time, playing a Warrior for PvP purposes anyway. Going into Shadowlands, I think if I am going to want to do PvP, it's definitely going to have to be with a different class. Rogue is probably one of the main ones that I was looking at. Mage is also a good choice. They tend to be powerful. Warlocks always tend to be powerful as well. So there's always a few sort of key classes. Warrior's always been one of the ones that, in my opinion, PvP-wise, has always been a bit on the weaker side. So we'll see. I definitely think in the long run, Warrior isn't going to be a good option in terms of player versus player content. But you never know. I haven't tried it properly. I haven't, spent a lot of time on it. It was mainly just to get a very brief idea, just so that it was something that I could chat about today. And ultimately, it was something that I fell back on because there wasn't much of an option in terms of doing PvE content. That I thought, right, I'll give PvP a go now, and see, how it feels. So we're going to head over to Siege of Orgrimmar now. Sadly, we once again did not get the belt, so that is, I think, the 3rd time now that we have tried the belt again, and it just still will not drop. Now, in all fairness, neither has Kalimdor's Revenge. Now, I think we did we get the other belt? No, I don't think we've had that one, have we? No, so we haven't had either of the belts, so it's not like it's, dropping other stuff. It's literally just dropping trash every time we go there, which is a shame. Doesn't look like Shar of Anger is up, otherwise I'd probably quickly have a little fly over to him and have a try, but that's going to be more something that I would like to do on another video, or another stream. So basically at the moment, in terms of streaming, there's a couple of ideas that I've got. So one is to do Mount Mondays, so every Monday, where possible, I would like to do a stream whereby I go around certain raids and dungeons, try and pick up whatever mounts that I can get. The other idea would be to do Transmog Tuesdays. Now I know obviously that hasn't worked out on this occasion just purely because I wasn't feeling very well, but that would be the sort of main view in future, would be to do Transmogs on Tuesdays, mounts on Mondays. In terms of the rest of the time, it just depends on what I want to do at that point, you know, whether I want to do more beta, but like I say, at the moment it doesn't seem like there's a great deal to do in the beta right now, because there's not many other people there. So unless you're going to want to do, you know, the quests and push Torghast, things like that, which I can do, but the only problem is I don't want to sort of burn it out before it's even live, if you know what I mean. You know, that it's, as I sort of mentioned briefly and touched on briefly previously, Shadowlands is going to be the game for a few years, like 2 years. I don't want to overplay it now before the game's even gone live. One of the ideas I'm going to do for streams is to do sort of little class streams, so maybe do like an hour-long stream looking at each class one at a time, what the specs are like. By no stretch of the imagination am I the sort of person who's going to be in a position to tell you this is the best spec, this is, you know, the best rotation or anything like that. But it's more just to give people an idea as to how the game looks, how the classes look, because if you don't have beta, yeah, you can find the information out there, but I think a lot of the videos that are available right now are more geared towards trying to say, this is the class you should play, if you want to do this content, this is what, you know, this is the spec you should play, this is the covenant you should choose, and things like that. I just want to let people go down the Blizzard route, kind of, and let people make their own mind up in that respect, because at the end of the day, it's you who's going to be playing that character for, you know, years to come, so you want to make sure that that character best represents you. And I know that might sound a bit, you know, silly, because ultimately people do want to get or be the strongest that they can be, which is fine, you know, if you are more inclined to being the strongest, but I do definitely think that the majority of people, myself included, I'm not a high-end, you know, raider or anything like that, so having the class that's going to be the absolute strongest, and it might even be a very slim difference, isn't necessarily the biggest concern for me. Like, for example, with Warrior, from what I understand, the Covenant choices for Warrior, any of them really work. So I don't think there's any that, as it currently stands anyway, that could be subject to change naturally, but as it currently stands, as far as I'm aware, any of them are okay. It's not like one's particularly better than other. I think the general consensus seems to be that Condemn is the best, but the main reason for that is because ultimately the others have like a cooldown. The other one that really stood out to me for Warrior as being, you know, one that I liked the look of was the Necrolords one, which allows you to summon a banner, which gives you like a big boost to your stats for a period of time. But the problem is it's a 3-minute cooldown, and I don't like the thought of having to wait 3 minutes every time. Could be very handy though, don't get me wrong, in terms of things like Mythic Plus, because I know when it comes to groups that are doing high Mythic Pluses, they do very large pulls to try and make sure that they can finish it in time. So it could be handy to be able to have that extra big boost every 3 minutes. So, like I say, it just depends personally, you know, down to your personal preference in a way. Some people might like the idea of just having like a big cooldown, others might like the idea of having a spell that they can use more regularly. So I do think that Blizzard, I can understand why Blizzard want to try and make it, you know, it's about your own choice. They want it to feel like a role-playing game, which is great, but they've got to remember that a lot of people now play the game to be the best. That's what they want to do. And yeah, I mean, I would always like to be as strong as I can be, but I'm not going to chase being the best player at the game or anything like that, because one, I don't have the time to do that, but two, it starts to feel less like a game and more like a job to me at that point. And ultimately, I play World of Warcraft to, you know, have a break from reality, just to get away from everything and, you know, just chill out. That's the main thing. That's why all my streams, it will say TitanSlyr, chill out stream or chill stream, because ultimately that's just what I want to do. I want to spend some time playing the game and just relax more than anything. So there's one of the most annoying bosses in the raid down. We've got a belt off him, which I already do have, so I'm not quite sure why it's telling me that that's new, because it's definitely not, because I had it transmogged earlier, but that's fine. We're not that bothered. The main thing that we're here for is the boots and the shoulders, potentially the mount, but I'd be very surprised if the mount dropped. I've never seen the mount drop. I mean, I've never seen the tusks of Manoroth drop either, but a mount is, if I can get a mount on stream from a raid, I'll be very happy with that. So this boss is also annoying just because there's always the potential risk of them resetting. I did manage to get the writhing segment of Drestagath trinket, however, so what I am going to do is I'm just going to literally pop off in here right now and just try and get them down as quickly as I can, in the hope that that means, so if we can kill these two. Nice. Nice. That went a lot smoother. I did that last night as well. It was like I tried that technique last night of just going in and just nuking them down really fast AoE wise, and noticed that it seemed to work quite well, and it's worked well there as well. So that seems to be a pretty nifty little technique that we've got going there for that boss now, which is very handy. So we'll try and make quick work of this raid if we can, because I appreciate that it's not the most exciting thing to stream, but in terms of if I can get a drop, you know, if I can get the tusks of Manoroth or Corcoran Juggernaut, having that on video would be one hell of a momentous occasion for me as a streamer, like a new streamer at least. You know, so I'd be very happy if something like that could happen. We just need to try and get through what is one of the longest raids, I think, that's in WoW. In terms of like the overall sort of ground that you have to cover, I feel like this must be one of the longest raids in the game, surely. And it's the amount of RP, you know, all the talk and stuff like that. I really think Blizzard need to put a little trigger in this dungeon now, just so that if you can see that you've cleared it previously, that you should just be able to skip the dialogue, because ultimately nobody's reading anymore. It's not required. Just get rid of it, Blizzard. Just try and make this a bit more user friendly. I'm still really happy with these weapons though. I do like the Void Edge Enchant. I know it just makes it look kind of like block purple, which some people probably won't like, but the juxtaposition between the dark weapon and the light weapon with the Wraith Chill on, I think looks really sweet. And ultimately, not everybody has it. You know, it's not like one of the normal enchants that everyone has. It's something that you have to get from the end of a vision. Specifically, it has to be the Stormwind vision as well, and it's just like a random drop. So the fact that I got that, I was very happy with. Yeah, I didn't get Mail Muncher, unsurprisingly. Once again, I went, because that was one of the main reasons why I was trying to still do it as well, was to try and see if I could get the Mail Muncher to drop. Still no Mail Muncher. It looks like that's going to be something that will potentially just elude me for the entire thing by the looks of it, which is fine. If that's the case, it's not a problem. I've got plenty of mounts, and ultimately Glacial Tidestorm is going to be pretty much the only mount that I'm going to use for some time, unless I get, you know, something else that stands out quite nicely, in which case I'll probably alternate between the two. But as it currently stands right now, I'm happy with what I've got in terms of mounts. So we'll pop off on this guy as well. So we've got a new sword there, Norishan's short blade, or is it a dagger? It's a dagger. That looks okay, it's not the best. The Mr. Pandari stuff's alright, I don't mind the look of it too much, but it's not the best for me. One of the items that I do, or one of the raids, sorry, that I do need to go to a bit more is Throne of Thunder. I've just never really done that raid, to be honest with you. And there's some pretty decent looking pieces in there. Lei Shen's I think it's his Corrupted Crown is one of the bits that I would like to get. Very hard from what I've seen to try and match it with anything in terms of like sets for Transmog, but I like the challenge, and you never know, there might be something that comes with or comes out in Shadowlands which might look pretty good with it, so it'll definitely be worth picking up if I can. Because I don't know if it's one of the items kind of like Tusks of Manoroth, where it's very difficult to pick up. So I should probably get started on that sooner rather than later, just in case. Now, while we have got a bit of downtime here, I would just like to say thank you to the people who watched my previous stream. If anybody's watching the stream now who watched the previous one, or if there's anybody who watches any of the videos that I put up after the fact, I do really appreciate it. It was incredible to see that, you know, there was 8 people watching at one point last time I did a stream, and there was about 4 hours in total that people watched for, which for me was just crazy, like a really high amount of time, so thank you for that. I am enjoying doing the streams. If you are enjoying watching them, then please, you know, just leave a comment on there just to let me know that you enjoyed it. I have had a comment from somebody and it was really nice to see, and I'd love to sort of engage with people a bit more. So, you know, if you don't necessarily use YouTube comments or anything like that because you maybe don't see a point, I'll be looking to, you know, reply to people who do leave comments on my videos, and you know, try and build a little bit of a community that we can get together and, you know, share experiences in the game and things like that. I think it'd be really nice. But yeah, if you enjoy the content that I put out, whether it be beta content or transmog, things like that, then by all means drop a comment. You know, subscribe to the channel would be great. I've got 5 subscribers so far. You know, I'm just starting small, little goals. If I can try and get that to 10 subscribers, and then we can get people, you know, coming on the live streams, in the chat, having a little bit of, you know, banter while we're doing some transmog and mounts and stuff. It would just be really nice to see, and I think we could get a nice little community going here. Once we, you know, if we get big enough and we get like, you know, sort of 10 people, 20 people, something like that, we could look at opening up a Discord and you know, just getting general chit chat going. I think it would be really nice. But like I say, I don't want to rush anything. I just want to keep putting my content out there, because that's the main thing that I'm enjoying doing, is being able to chat while I'm playing the game. And ultimately, if anybody is interested and is enjoying it, then please just let me know. Even just a simple comment just to say that it was a good video or you enjoyed it, I'd really appreciate that. Now we are up to the point of the raid where we're about midway. Everything slows down here. I wasted 10 minutes of my life last night when I did this run because I thought I'd clicked all of the cannonballs but I'd left one, so I was sat there like an absolute dingus for 10 minutes thinking why is nothing happening, and that was why. But I'm not going to make that same mistake again. I am just going to quickly kill these ones, just because I tend to find that he's stood so close to these bombs that you have a bit of trouble getting to it without triggering him. So I'll just wait for combat to drop off there, that'll be the last one. And then we can go and kill Galacras. So yeah, about halfway. I really hope we can get the Tusks of Manoroth. I'm not that bothered about Corcoran Juggernaut. Again, it's not a flying mount, so it's not a huge loss if we don't get that. But in terms of getting the Tusks of Manoroth, it would just be such a good piece of gear to get, because they just look so unique. That's the thing. I love unique, and I also love shoulder guards that are asymmetrical. I think they generally look a bit nicer. So this ship here, when it arrives at Siege of Orgrimmar, always reminds me of when the ships arrive at the end of Lord of the Rings. When it's these ships that are sailed by the Easterlings, and then obviously Aragorn and the Army of the Dead jump out. But I feel like that design of ship is like almost identical to what we can see here in WoW. I don't know whether they've taken inspiration. I feel like this must definitely have been after Lord of the Rings, definitely. So I don't know if they've taken inspiration from it.
Some of you will need to stay behind to hold the beachhead.
So I'm going to stay down here first, because if I remember rightly, there's always going to be a group that spawns down here first, and they generally catch me out a little bit. So we'll get these guys killed, and then just run up here, who we kill. And then it's pretty much smooth sailing from here. And we'll let these guys do what they need to do on the tower. I do like the Battle Plate of Raft, or the Battlegear of Raft set. I think the only thing that does annoy me about it is the big gap here between the back of the helm and the chest piece. Very exposed. I think it would look not nice. I mean, in terms of like if they gave this set a modern revamp, I'd probably recommend putting like a big sort of collar piece up and around and something maybe under the neck. I know that they did give these bits a bit of a revamp, but I really wasn't impressed with the new versions that they released, in all fairness. I'll bring it up on screen now just for people who haven't seen it. So this was the original Battlegear of Raft set. It's nice and colourful. It's got the glowing eyes on there. You've got the skulls. I just think it's really, really nice and unique looking set. Actually, I need to stay with these guys because they're nearly dead. If you then look at the one that dropped from Hellfire Citadel, which was this one, so that's the normal version. Now it's just so muted and grey. When you go on to the heroic version, you've kind of got the green eyes, which is alright, but again, this sort of like really muted colours. And then finally, when you go on to the mythic version, it has like the sort of tints of green, but I'm really not a fan of these like almost wings that it has on there. It's just didn't look the same, doesn't have the same feel for me, which is a bit of a shame. I feel like I want to stay with these guys because they are very close. I think I just made the right choice there as well. Otherwise that could have ended up really bad. If any of them die, it's the absolute last thing that I need is either of those two dying. So we'll hopefully, I mean that's probably the worst I've ever done at Galacross, to be honest with you. The good thing is she's right in front of me here, so we've got a very easy kill by the looks of it. That didn't take long. Must have been like 2 clear shots. Oh, Sylvana, shut up. So I'm very surprised at how quickly Warlord Zayla was chucked off her mount there. That hasn't happened before. Normally it takes like 6 or 7 shots. Very strange run. Very strange indeed. But sure enough, here comes Galacross. So we'll finish this off. Nothing new. That's fine. Didn't expect anything. Now, in terms of the boots, I think we might have potentially. So these guys can drop them, which are 2 bosses away. I honestly can't remember. Spoils of Pandaria, right? Okay, yeah. So thankfully, in terms of getting these set from here, we have still got the 2 chances remaining. So that's something. Even if we just get the remaining boots that we need for the warrior tier set, then I'll still be pretty happy with that. It's still another set, which would be 2 sets in 1 stream, which I'd be very happy with. So try and make as quick a work as this as we can. Okay. So now we just have to wait yet again for RP. And we're through. Right, so I'm going to get these guys killed now. I really want to get out of here because Siege of Borgrimmar, I've just seen it so many times. I probably should become, like, I'll try and come with more people, to be honest with you. Just to try and increase my chances of getting the drop, because if it drops to somebody else, then at least I've got the option for them to potentially trade it to me. Just to maybe try and make it a bit quicker, or a bit easier. Like I say, I know there's the option to buy lockouts, but it means missing out on the other bosses. Right now, I still need the boots. If it's a case of I get the boots from this run, and then I no longer need anything else other than Tusks of Manoroth and Corcoran Juggernaut, then I probably will just do the lockouts, just get a lockout and go straight to the last boss, because it's just getting a bit pointless now and a bit tedious in terms of having to kill these guys every time. It's not too bad when it's someone like Razorgore, you know, where it's the first boss, you just run in, done, see you later. Or if it was a case of there was like still quite a few bits I could get from here. But in all fairness, there's not a great deal. I've got the helm for the offset belt. I need the boots there. It says that I haven't got those shoulders actually. Interesting. So I guess there's probably a couple of bits that I could still get from here, but not a great deal. So it'd be nice just to be able to sort of have a bit of freedom and not have to come here for what I know is an item that has a very small drop chance. I think that's another thing that doesn't help as well, is I know that it's got such a low drop chance. It's like trying to get a mount, so it's not the best, but they're just so worth it, man. I mean, when you put the Tusks of Manoroth on, especially as an orc, I mean, just the fact that they are Garrosh's shoulders, and I'm very much a Garrosh sympathiser, so the fact that they are Garrosh's shoulders, can't argue with wanting them, to be honest with you, for anybody who wants them. Did get a new weapon there, so that's actually decent. I'll never complain at getting a new weapon. I'm not a big two-handed mace person, to be honest with you, but I know, yeah, this one has the blue glow underneath it, so I know that one's quite a tasty look. I think I'd probably like the maces more if your character sort of held them a bit further down the hilt. I know that they probably put it there just more sort of for the balance purposes, but it's a game, and I think it would look a lot cooler if they were like sort of really swinging them from the bottom and chucking them about. But anytime that we get a weapon transmog is very handy. Another place that we need to go to, which I forgot to do last night because server shut down, because I was playing quite late last night, is we need to go to High Mall, because I would like to try and get the where is it? Warlord of Draenor. I'm trying to get the shoulders for the DK set, which I think look really good as well, especially when they sort of activate and start doing their unique ability or their unique look. So I do need to go there at some point. Now, one thing I used to do is I used to start clearing this room out, don't ask me why, but I've realised now that it's a hell of a lot quicker if you just ignore the majority of the enemies in the room and just get out of there. Because I'd normally end up fighting them, I'd then get stuck in combat with some, and it just became like this whole thing. So thankfully, I've now realised in my quest to try and speed this raid up to get through it as fast as I can, I've realised that just leaving as much of that room as you possibly can is by far the best thing to do. Another thing that I really need to do and get on top of is, I haven't yet, so I've had Shadowlands pre-ordered for about 4 months, maybe longer, and I still haven't got the Transmog set for the pre-order yet. Just haven't got round to it, because essentially it's just like grinding for the Echoes of Mortality. But I could potentially make a nice looking set, especially now I've got the Void Edge Enchant as well, so that's definitely something that we need to get on top of and get complete. So let's loot you. A Malkarox, Giant Stompers, so we've got some off-colour DK boots by the looks of it. I'll take that, they're nice. Black and orange is always a good combination to have appearances for in terms of colours, so I'll definitely take that. Now, we are making pretty good progress here, I would say, in terms of the time taken. So it's getting closer and closer to Halloween now. Anybody who's watching who is a fan of Halloween, as I've mentioned in previous streams, Halloween is my favourite holiday of the year. Do enjoy Christmas, but Halloween definitely takes the biscuit. Me and the wife will most likely be getting ready to prepare the house in the next few days. So we generally just decorate the inside, not big decorators for the outside, purely because we have a dog, and obviously one of the things that can set him off is people knocking at the door and then it starts making him bark. So just to try and avoid that, we don't bother decorating the outside. But ultimately, I just love this time of year, mainly because you've got Halloween coming up. You've then got, if you're in the UK at least, you've got Bonfire Night on the 5th of November. So we have like 2 sort of good autumnal holidays around the same time, and it's nice, you know, the shops start to stock up on the Halloween stuff, so you've got like the extra Halloween sweets, or candy as Americans might call it. You've then got all the new ornaments, because me and my wife, with us enjoying Halloween so much, we'll generally go to all the shops. So there's, in the UK, there's some that are very similar to ones that I've seen on YouTube in America. So in America, I think you've got things like Home Depot, or Home Depot, depending on how you pronounce it, which will sell things like animatronics and stuff like that. In the UK, you've got equivalents to that, so things like what's called the Range, or B&M. So we generally go to all of those sort of shops, have a look at what they're selling for the new year. Sadly, it's not been as easy this year for 2 reasons. One, because, as I mentioned before, I became a father this year very recently, so obviously now we have to take that into account anytime that we want to leave the house. But also with COVID going on, it just makes it very difficult in terms of being able to get into shops and things like that anyway. So we have managed to get into the Range thus far. Once, quite early on, there was some stuff there, not a great deal to be honest with you. So I don't think we'll necessarily be getting a lot of new stuff this year. But we have yet to have a look in some of the other shops. So places like Tesco, which you'll probably have heard of, and Asda, which I think if you're in America is owned by Walmart. So essentially we still have yet to go to those 2 and have a look and sort of see what they're offering. But we'll generally pick up like 1 or 2 new things every year just to add to the little collection that we've got going. We've got enough to pretty much do like the entire downstairs of the house. Obviously we'll have to buy some cobweb to stick up, because that's one of the sort of things that we don't really keep from year on year. I don't know if you can, to be honest with you. It'd probably just get all tangled up in like the storage and just become a mess anyway. But yeah, we'll buy a few of the cobweb packets, get that all strewn around, and then ultimately get that decorated. We've got a nice little outfit for the little one, so she'll look cute when Halloween rolls around as well. But yeah, just love this time of year. All the horror films come out or start coming out on TV. I don't really watch TV, to be honest with you. I'm more stick to sort of on-demand services. But I think I mentioned it before, we're going to be watching Frankenstein potentially on Halloween. So I've got like a box set. It's downstairs now. I couldn't find it last time. I do remember now. I did mention this on stream. I couldn't find it last time. I thought the box set was behind me on my shelves, but it's not. It's downstairs, and it's got like all of the classic horror movies in, like Dracula, Frankenstein, etc. So we're gonna watch Frankenstein this year, because that's the last one that we've got to watch, and then after that we'll just repeat it again. If we get a chance, that is, because not much time to sit down and watch movies at the moment. So thankfully, we've just got this boss, Thok, Paragons, and then we're at the last boss. So not much longer to go now. Try and do this as quickly as I can. If anybody knows a quicker way of doing this section, then please let me know. I don't think there is a faster way of doing it. I think you do just have to unlock the boxes. But again, for Blizzard's point, like from a Blizzard point of view, I know they're not going to do it, but if it was a case of there was just an option whereby you could just click a button and then it would just open up all the boxes in one go, that would just be so much better. For people who are just running this place for transmog purposes, I don't see why it's necessary for us to go through the process of unlocking every box and opening them all up individually. They know that you're going to beat it. You know, it's not like there's a question like, oh well, you might die. You know, there's no question about that. You're going to beat the dungeon. It's not difficult to do. So just try and make it a bit more user friendly when it comes to sort of transmog purposes. That's one of the things that I have checked out as well, just in case anybody was curious, in terms of transmog in Shadowlands. I had a quick check to see just how strong your character was going to be in terms of Tomb of Sargeras. Now I use Tomb of Sargeras as a benchmark because both Tomb of Sargeras and Antorus at the moment, I think you might potentially with the right class be able to solo them to a degree on normal and raid finder. When it comes to sort of heroic and mythic, I don't think there's any chance of being able to solo, especially not Antorus. Tomb of Sargeras potentially, but again I don't think it's possible to do it. And when I say with the right class, I'm talking like warlocks or hunters might have a chance just purely on the basis that they have a pet that can take the damage while they sort of deal it from a distance. Now, in terms of it, it was still a struggle, so I couldn't kill the first boss in Tomb of Sargeras Mythic on my own. I was hoping that it might change a little bit, but ultimately it looks like it is still going to be one of the ones where it requires you to have a group of people, probably less than what it does right now, but considering that it drops, you know, pieces of tier gear for every class, you might as well take one of every class in anyway and just have as many people as you can. So I don't think a great deal is going to change when it comes to Antorus and Tomb of Sargeras following the release of Shadowlands and doing transmog runs in those areas. Making pretty quick progress here, it's not going too bad. That was a lot quicker, I'm surprised. I've still got like half a room of boxes, so I'm not quite sure how that's happened. So for anybody who has been watching my streams since I've started doing them as well, you'll know that I mentioned that myself and the wife were watching the Harry Potter series because it's my favourite series of films of all time, and it's the same for her as well. We have finished it now, I don't know if I mentioned that. And then we moved on to Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy specifically. I always forget how good The Dark Knight is. If there's anybody out there who hasn't still seen The Dark Knight, you are in for a treat if you can, you know, just watch that film. Unbelievable. I am a big fan of, like, well, Christopher Nolan, full stop, is just a brilliant filmmaker. But just the overall performance, I know people always say it, but Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker in that film is unbelievable. But even just the storyline of the entire thing is great. And ultimately, it just, I think that film, even if you were to just watch the first 5 minutes of that film, you can just tell straight away it's going to be good. You wouldn't even know it was going to be a Batman film if you just watch the first 10 minutes or first 5 minutes. And I think that's what makes it so special and so unique, is it's not just like straight up, this is a Batman film, this is a comic book film. It kind of lured you into this like sense of, this is, you know, almost just like a gang movie, you could feel like, which gave it that gritty feeling. You know, it sort of detracted away from just feeling like it was a comic book film. As much as I love the Avengers films, and don't get me wrong, I love the Avengers films, they are comic book movies, you know, so they have that, not so much in the last ones, So in terms of like Civil War onwards, I think they're kind of trying to move over into a little bit of the more sort of seriousness, but still nowhere near the same as like the Dark Knight. But they always have that like air of campiness, and you know it's like they're just sort of trying to be, they're trying to keep the humour going, which is something that they've, you know, like part of the culture of the Marvel films in a way, is that they have that undertone of humour throughout, which again isn't a bad thing. That's their, you know, style, and that's their uniqueness that gives them their makes them so identifiable, to be fair, as the Marvel films. Right, so we got a chest plate there that we didn't have before. That's the DK off-colour set, so again, I will take that. We've got shoulders here, but I think we've already got those. So yeah, nothing spectacular. Nothing out of the ordinary, but that's fine. We'll go, and fingers crossed we can get the boots from this chest up here. Because as you'll notice, we didn't get them off the Dark Shamans, unsurprisingly. Now thankfully, once I've done this, I can then go kill the Paragons, and then we have the chance. Now in terms of the Paragons, as I was mentioning previous time I came here, I'd had the problems with it sort of getting stuck, and then I saw online the tip to let them finish the dialogue, and then you wouldn't have that problem anymore. I've done that twice now, and it has worked both times. In fact, no, I've done it 3 times now, and it's worked all 3 times, I should say. So that seems to have resolved that issue for me, which is very handy. Touch wood anyway, because the last thing what I want to have now is to do it here on stream, get stuck, and then, oh nice, we got the boots. We got the boots, boys. Yes. Very nice. Battle plate set complete. Got the full thing. Woo. What a stream. 2 full sets in 1 stream. Very happy with that. And I think did we get something else? No, I think we've already got everything else that dropped there. Yeah, we've got the sword already. I got that yesterday, and I already had the shield. But yeah, now 2 full sets in 1 stream. Unbelievable. Could this be it? Could this be the sign that the Tusks of Manaroth are coming home? I even, just to try and like do one of those, you know, superstitious things of can I get it to drop? When I killed Garrosh yesterday, I even had the Tusks of Manaroth open on my screen like this as I killed him, just in the hope that it might, you know, aid in the drop somehow, but I knew it wouldn't. But when you're this desperate, you'll try anything. You will try anything to get it to drop. That's another full set though, and I will take that. I'm very happy with that. So it's 2 sets that we've managed to complete in this 1 stream, which is unbelievable. But yeah, if we can get the Tusks of Manaroth, then I don't know what I'll do. Oh, I mean, to be fair, I'll be happy with either. Corcoran Juggernaut or Tusks of Manaroth. It would just be a great thing to be able to put on stream, you know, and to be able to have on my channel, like a momentous moment like that of getting one of these items. And that's one of the reasons why I want to do things like Mount Mondays and Transmog Tuesdays, is so that we can have something on the channel to try and, you know, draw people in, say, look, this is like a really big moment for the channel, and we got something really special. So I am just going to wait now until I can see that they have finished doing the little roleplay speech at the beginning, because like I say, the last thing that I want to do is get them to get stuck. Now I always check this because there's 2 that I want to keep an eye out for. First one is Ricall, because he can change you into an Amber Scorpion, and then once he does that you're done, so we need to kill Ricall first. And then I think it's Zarro, because if I remember rightly, he potentially can turn you into... Was it Zarro? Oh, this guy here, Corvin, I think. Anyway, the main one is Ricall. Right, so they've finally finished their chat, so let's get this going, and fingers crossed we don't have any issues here. Right, there's Ricard, but I'll wait till the others have jumped in. There we go. So we'll kill him off first. And then we will kill Skier, because I don't like the bloods that he spawns. Let them just get to the middle. Then we'll kill Hissek. And then after that, I'll kill Corvin. Such a precise thing, it's like surgery doing this. So we'll kill Corvin. I don't know what you're doing to me. I don't know what that does. I'm just going to kill him just to be on the safe side. Here comes Zarel, so we'll kill you next just to be on the safe side as well. So we haven't got many left. So I'm going to get rid of Kaztik just because I think you could be dangerous. I'll wait till he comes back down because I know he does, but I just want to wait till he's back down before I kill him and kill his friend. Should be it. We should be good, boys. Yes. Nice. This is it. We are on the final stretch now. Nothing new there, but again, don't mind. I'm not here for anything else in particular other than what's going to drop off the last boss, and it's going to drop. I'm confident. I'm confident that we are going to get Tusks of Manaroth and Corcoran Juggernaut. Double whammy. Never have to come back here again. Maybe. No. Confidence. Confidence is key. Believe it, and it will happen. So let's get rid of these guys. Open the door. Right, this is it. Moment of truth.
It is not too late, Garrosh.
Lay down the mantle, yes. Give me the mantle, Garrosh. Right. This is it. This is the moment of truth. Got to get through this final bit of roleplay as usual, because it wouldn't be it wouldn't be Siege of Orgrimmar if there wasn't a ridiculous amount of roleplay beforehand. So I don't think so. The shoulders for Paladin that we could get, but I'm not really bothered about those. Everything else we've literally got. It says that I haven't got the shoulders, but as you've all seen, I clearly have got them. They're just the non-tier version, but I have got those shoulders, so it's not like it's a new appearance or anything. These ones, however, well, that would be a new appearance, so let's just see what happens. I mean, look at 8. Look at 8. Crazy, man.
I will correct the mistake I made long ago. Spirits of the wind, the earth, the water, hear my call. Come to my aid.
Oh, dear me.
Have twisted and tortured the elements for miles around. They cannot see.
Don't know if there's anything else I am interested in getting, actually. See, like I mentioned before, I'm going to do High Maul, try and get the shoulders. I wouldn't mind the two-handed sword as well, which drops off the last boss, but I don't really have anything that it goes with. The only set that I could kind of think that it might go with would be the Raid Finder version of the one from Dragon Soul, the like yellow dragon gear, but again, I don't think I'd particularly wear that. Right, here we go. Make quick work of you. Do the next phase. Nice and quick. So let him take us to the final stage now, where he's then going to drop, come on, say it with me, Tusks of Manaroth, Corcoran Juggernaut. Tusks of Manaroth, Corcoran Juggernaut, both are going to drop. This is a fact. It's a flat out fact that both items will drop. And I know I've said it before, but I'm saying it again. Avatar for warriors would be so much cooler if it did something like this, where it just made you look like you were sort of infused with the power of Visage and fell energy. Far more exciting than just turning big and grey. Okay, here we go. So we are going to get both pieces, Tusks of Manaroth, Corcoran Juggernaut. Both items are going to drop. We got the worst thing. We got the shoulders twice that I've already got. I already have them, yet it's acting like I don't, so I thought I'd got something. Oh, never mind. Never mind, Garrosh. You will drop it for me one day, I'm sure, my friend. So let's head back over to Dalaran now. What a shame. I mean, to be fair though, it's still been a very good stream in terms of getting like two sets, sorry, that we needed complete. Now that I'm here, I will need to quickly apply the set that we've just got, because obviously that is the rules of Transmog Tuesday as it is today. So I'll just quickly get rid of all these bits here, because I've been absolutely chock full of rubbish now. So I'll get rid of that. And then if we go on to the sets, put this one on. Get into the light because you couldn't see anything in the dark there. So there we go, that is how we are going to end the stream today. We have got two new sets finished. So we finished the Raft set, we finally got the Braces of Raft from Razorgore, and we have finished off the Mythic Siege of Orgrimmar set. Getting the boots that we needed was the final piece, and that dropped off the Spoils of Pandaria event in Siege of Orgrimmar. So two done. Sadly, no Tusks of Manaroth, no Corcoran Juggernaut, but that was kind of to be expected, to be fair, so it's not a huge surprise. But thank you for anybody who has watched the stream today. This video will be up on YouTube shortly as well, so if anybody hasn't seen the stream live, they can catch up. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment, let me know what you enjoyed, if there's anything you'd like to see me do in the future. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and drop a like if you would be so kind to do so as well. But for now,